So today we have a great interview with Jenn. I sent her some entertaining and challenging questions. So we'll give Jenn a moment to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her book.
Hi Kim, I'm Jenn Cooksey. I'm the author of Sharkbait. It's the first book in the Grab Your Pulse series. It's a 6-book young adult, new adult, contemporary series about a girl named Cammie and her friends and her sister and their lives in high school. It's sort of, it's real, it's honest. I don't hold a whole heck of a lot back. There are probably going to be some parents out there that don't want their teenagers to read it because they might not want them to know what they may have been doing in high school. There might be some teenagers who don't want their parents to read it for the same reasons. It's kind of, it's fictional reality. So that's me and Sharkbait.
Thank you, Jenn. I have to point out really quick, I'm so excited. 3 huge things that I loved about Sharkbait are 3 things that Jenn just kicked off her intro with, which is new adult, honesty, and real. 3 big things that I look for in a book, big grading points for me, and big reasons why I love Sharkbait so much. So pretty exciting. But let's get the interview questions started. My first question is definitely school related, and it's actually a big thing for me because I kind of gauge people sometimes based off what they would pick if I were to put 2 things in front of them. So Jenn, if I were to give you crayons and markers, which would you pick and why?
Oh, okay. Crayons or markers? We're gonna say markers. I'm sort of a Sharpie whore. I love them. I have them in like all sorts of different colors and sizes, like everything you could possibly imagine. I have Sharpie highlighters and everything, fine tip, bold tip, the big giant ones that you can make, you use for posters and things like that. So yeah, we're gonna say markers over crayons.
I love your answer. I love Sharpies too. Um, and I'm sure there's a psychology major somewhere out there in the interwebs right now listening to our responses going, analyzing us by that. But I do. I do when I meet people and I ask them that question. I don't know why. Cleanliness thing. Crayons are messy to me. But anyways, my next question for you is if you were going to be a teacher, what would you teach and why?
Yeah, I was a teacher. I homeschooled my 3 girls. I did it for about 5 years or so. I taught them everything. I taught them how to read. We did math, English, science. We did home ec. They learned how to make fresh bread, and they had to go to the grocery store and meal plan and budget and everything. I taught them how to clean. All right, everybody who knows me, stop laughing right now. Cleaning is not my forte, so I taught my minions how to do it and called it curriculum. Called it school. So yeah, I was a teacher. I just didn't do one subject. I sort of did it all. So.
I'm totally shocked that you're still sitting here. I had no idea that you homeschooled your kids, or 3 girls. I know me and my sisters were a handful growing up, so I'm sure you have some crazy stories about homeschooling, but we'll save that for another interview. My next question is, what was your favorite subject in school, and what was your most hated subject in school?
My favorite subject. I want to say lunch, and it's not even a subject. I didn't like school very much. Well, like Cammie and Sharkbait, I was a dancer, and I'm classically trained in ballet, so I was really fortunate to go to a school that had a great dance program, so I would probably say dance would be my favorite subject. Academically, I would say probably English. It came easy to me. It was it just was natural. So yeah, dance and English. Um, my my most hated subject, oh, that's easy. That's math. I suck at it. Like I don't get it at all. My 12-year-old has to help me with math. I probably hate it more than I hate cleaning, if that's even possible. So, yeah, math, definitely the worst subject ever.
I'm so jealous. A school with dance. That's really exciting. And I hate math too. Hate it. Um, they made a calculator for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. So, right there with you. My next question is actually kind of along the lines of things not liked. I actually hated reading growing up. Now, my Nook is like another limb for me. So obviously things changed. I was a huge writer in school though, and I still am. So for you, was reading and writing always a passion, or is it something that you got back into later in life?
Yeah, I'm like you, Kim. I didn't like reading and writing when I was a kid. Like I hated reading. And even though like all of my, my teachers and my family and everything said that I was a good writer and I was talented and they wanted to see me pursue writing in some way, shape, or form, I couldn't fathom why I would want to write about anything when I couldn't stand reading. So, but then later in high school and college, I started to sort of appreciate and truly love reading and everything. Um, and then about 3 years ago or so, I decided that I needed to start writing and taking the stories that were in my head and putting them in my hard drive. So definitely, yeah, something that happened later in life for me. Yeah.
So now that we're on the subject of reading, the inevitable book blogger question, what are you reading right now? And if you're not reading something right now, what was the last book you finished?
Okay, yeah, I'm not reading anything right now. I really don't have as much time to read as I would like to have, um, which is really sort of a shame because it's just reading is a passion of mine. Um, but the last book that I read was by an indie author friend of mine. Her name is Samantha Stroh Bailey, and the book is called Finding Lucas. It was, fun and cute and everything, great story. So yeah, that was the last book I read.
So my next question is another thing that I'm pretty particular about. Whether I'm blogging at home or I'm at work, there are one of two things I must have is either a Mountain Dew or a cup of coffee. I have to have caffeine. And Reese's Pieces are a bonus, not a necessity, but love it when they're involved too. So, is there anything when you sit down to write that you must have? Music, silence, things like that.
Yeah, that's funny. Reese's Pieces, yay! I love candy. No, I don't. I don't have to have anything like special or anything like food or music or anything. While you know, music is a huge inspiration to me. Like anybody who's ever read my work clearly knows that music is huge for me. But I can't listen to it when I'm writing. I have to be like sequestered away. I call it my cave. So like I just can't be distracted by anything. So I have to go in my cave, and it's usually my bedroom. Like I'm propped up in the pillows and everything, and I've got my computer right in front of me. So like if I had to actually say like choose something that I have to have, it would be a cave for me to like go off and be by myself in, and where I can focus and do my best writing is when I'm all by myself.
I'm totally with you on that. I love to listen to music. I'm a huge music person too. And I will listen to music when I'm researching and stuff, but I can't do it like if I'm like trying to sit and write something. So, my next question is, what is the hardest part about writing for you?
Yeah, okay. The hardest part about writing for me is finding balance. I'm a wife and I'm a mom and everything, but when I'm writing, I put so much of myself into it. I spend a lot of time doing character development and stuff like that in my head, and I have a sounding board where, I have a friend who's been with me from, everything. Like, she's been all the way from the beginning of Shark Bait, to the very, very end. She knows everything about the entire series and the story and where it's going. We spend a lot of time talking about it, and, I bounce ideas off of her. But, being a wife and a mom also, I have a hard time, juggling those two things and separating them, because I like have to immerse myself in the stories and the characters and what's going on with their lives, in order to really write a good story. So the hardest part for me would be finding balance. I'm also kind of a sucky friend because of that, so definitely balance is like the ultimate hardest thing for me when it comes to writing.
Okay, speaking of character development, if anybody out there in Bloggerland right now had watched my Twitter ramblings after I read Shark Bait, you will know that I fell madly, deeply, passionately in love with Cammy. I actually started reading Shark Bait and was like, oh my god, this is me. Jenn is writing me right now. If I was a character in a book, I'd be Cammy. So if you were going to sit down and cast someone to play Cammy, other than me, who would that be and why?
Oh, you're so funny. Like, everybody wants to be Cammy. There's an 11-year-old girl who, there's a friend of my daughter's who read the book. I know, yikes. But, she's like dying. She wants to be Cammy. But, it's funny that you ask, because just last night, my BBF, my bibliophile best friend, was over, and we were watching Battleship. Yay, Taylor Kitsch, I love him. And she's a film junkie. She's a script writer and everything. And we started fan casting. We came up with like all kinds of great ideas and character possibilities or acting possibilities for the like sideline characters and the parents and stuff. And I think we found somebody great for Jillian. And I think we even got Tristan worked out. Like if we were to start filming like right now. But Cammy is like really hard for me to see anybody portraying, because I modeled her physically after my oldest daughter. So when I see Cammy in my head, I have like this sort of vision, like a modified vision of my oldest daughter. So if it were ever to be optioned for film or something like that, I would just have to leave it to them. Not that I would have any say so whatsoever anyways, but I would just have to sort of be happy with whoever they cast, because I can't see anybody else as Cammy. So yeah, that's that.
Oh, you break my heart. No, good answer though. I just hope that when the day comes and you have to cast Cammy, you don't lose my phone number, because I will drop whatever I'm doing and come do it for you. But my next question for you is, who is your favorite character to write?
I don't think that I have an actual favorite character to write, although I do really like writing the guys. They're so much fun, and they're such a mess. I like to get into their heads and their minds and their motivation for doing things and everything. I think I can get away with a little bit more from them, which makes it a lot more fun. And I don't think that the guy's perspective is really written about as widely as it could be or should be in young adult and new adult literature, which is a shame, because the guys, they're fun. So I like writing the boys.
Well, I'm glad to hear that the guys were your favorite to write, because they were actually one of my favorite parts about Shark Bait. They're hilarious, and I agree. Poor men, male species, is horribly underappreciated, and when it comes to young adult and new adult as character portrayals come to be. So Shark Bait was refreshing for that. Along the same lines, what was your favorite chapter to write?
A favorite chapter? I don't know if I actually had a favorite chapter to write in Sharkbait. It's probably really horrible to admit this, but I kind of crack myself up, so it makes it hard to choose. Um, but I guess if I had to pick, I'd probably say I'll Need Some Gum. I think it's chapter 19, or the one after that, single or double digits. Those both were pretty much, they were a lot of fun to write. So if I had to pick, I'd probably say one of those two. I'll Need Some Gum or single or double digits. Yeah.
Don't feel bad because you totally crack me up too. I'll Need Some Gum is actually one of my favorite chapters, but my top favorite, and you and I have talked a lot about the whiteboards, is actually Do You Want to Tell Him or Should I? A freaking hilarious chapter. Heck, the whole book, I've never laughed out loud so much reading than I did with Sharkbait. So, on a more serious note, do you have any advice that you would give to aspiring writers or aspiring authors?
Advice for aspiring authors. Okay, let's see. Well, first, I would say, start off with a manuscript that is as close to perfect as you could possibly make it. Edit like crazy, like edit, edit, edit. Have beta readers, have proofreaders. Hire a professional to edit your manuscript for you. Or I didn't do that. I edited it myself. But yeah, you need to have a manuscript that is just as close to perfect as you can possibly have it, especially if you're going to self-publish, because, you don't have that team behind you. You have to do everything yourself. If you're going to try and publish traditionally, the one thing that you need to have besides, an awesome manuscript is you have to have a kick-ass query letter. The one place I would send somebody who needs to know how to write one would be QueryShark.com. She's an agent, and what she does on QueryShark is that she takes query submissions and she puts them up online, and then she takes like a virtual, red pen and sort of, makes notes and kind of helps them edit, and then the person who submitted it will come back in and they'll rewrite it, and she just sort of, they go through the process again and again, and she helps them learn how to write a good query letter, something that will get an agent's notice. And it's all online, so everybody can, read it and watch and learn how to write a good query letter. The other place that I would send anybody, regardless of whether they're going to self-publish or publish traditionally, would be Nathan Bransford's blog. He used to be an agent, I want to say with Little Brown in San Francisco, I think. Don't quote me because I'm not 100% sure on that. But he's now an author. He writes children's books, but he is just phenomenal, and he's hilarious. He's got tons and tons of information on his blog, all about writing and publishing and anything and everything to do with the literary world. So those are the two places that I would send people: QueryShark.com and Nathan Bransford's blog. Other than that, if you're going to publish traditionally, just start stalking as many agents as you possibly can. A lot of them have blogs and everything, and they'll tell you how they like to be submitted to and things like that, and you can kind of learn what everybody's preferences are. So yeah, that's my advice is, tight, concise, perfect manuscript and query letters, and just, do your research. Okey-doke.
All right, you had to know it was coming. It's been a really long summer, and I know that somewhere in the middle of that I read Sharkbait, but do you have a tentative plan for the release of Book 2 in the Grab Your Pole series?
Yeah, everybody wants to know about Book 2. Well, I was originally going to publish it this fall. I'm not going to do that now, so I'm sorry. I'm thinking about spring. I don't have a date yet, but I'm looking at possibly April. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll get Book 2, The Other Fish in the Sea, this April.
Spring, I'll take it. It's really not too far away. So if you're not viewers, I will be book stalking this one. And the moment I hear of an official date, I will post away via anticipation to let you all know. And this will conclude our interview today with Jenn. Jenn, I want to just thank you again for spending some time to answer my questions today. I also want to remind everybody to check out the post information below and to make sure to stop by the other blog hop participants and to make sure you check out Jenn's blog on the 21st for the conclusion of the blog hop and the scavenger hunt for the grand prize giveaway. So I will give Jenn a moment to share any parting words with us, and thanks for stopping by.
So I guess that's it for me today, you guys. Thank you. Kim, thank you so much for having me on Sliced Open Reviews. It was an honor and it was a blast. I've never done anything like this before, so I was kind of a big chicken about it. I hope I sounded okay and looked okay. Can't stand the sound of my voice on answering machines and things, so I'm really sort of paranoid about it. If anybody ever wants to get in touch with me, you can stalk me. I'm all over the internet, Facebook and Twitter, and my blog. I'm even on Pinterest now. So if you have questions or if you just want to say hi, you guys go ahead, feel free, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.